Welcome back, class. This is your Catia mentor, and in this video I'm going to show you how to repair a surface. So I'm going to go ahead and open up one of our previous videos, the one that we created representing the headrest of a car seat. Let me go ahead and change the color on the surfaces. Right click properties, and let's go with the tan color. Okay, you can see right away that there's a problem here with the surface. So anytime you're creating surfaces, think of it as getting a tailor-made suit or a dress, and you want the patches to go from one patch to another with a smooth transition. So obviously here we have a bad transition. So all I did was turn off my fillets. So if I go back and show fillets, we can see the fillets. But if you want to see an issue with the surface, turn off the fillets, and you can see there's something wrong in this area. We also have a connect checker analysis. So let's go ahead and click on this. And by the way, I am in generative wireframe and surfaces. We can also find this in Freestyle app. Alright, so let's go ahead and do a connect checker analysis. Select our surface. And you can see it's already letting us know there's some type of issue at that seam. Alright, so let's go ahead and repair that patch. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on fillets. I want to see the fillets. Go to view and pick the fourth option. And OK. So it's pretty common to have to go in there and fix a patch. So it's as Catia is generating surfaces, like it was done on the previous video, it doesn't always create a nice clean surface. It can be due to the quality of the other surfaces, or maybe it's a tight turn, and sometimes it gives you a bad surface or a bad transition. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to use join. Even though this is one complete surface, I'm going to use join to remove the patch. Alright, so let's go to join. So we're going to go to join. So I'm going to join this surface. It's already all joined as one. And then I'm going to use this option to remove patches. So if you go to this one, sub-elements to remove, I'm going to remove this patch. And you can remove all the patches you want. And preview. And OK. And as you can see, it removed that patch. So if we were joining all these surfaces from scratch, joining them all up, and you can see there's a bad patch, you can remove it as you're joining surfaces. Alright, so now we're going to go over to Freestyle Shape Design, and we're going to use the fill command. So let's go to creation, and we're going to go to Freestyle Fill. Okay, so we're going to fill up this area. I'm going to select the edges along the way. There it is. So closed it up. So I had to select 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and for this one, it's giving us tangent continuity. And OK. And there we have it. We recreated the surface. Now there's other ways of doing this. I'm going to go ahead and hide this surface that we just created. Let's go back to generative wireframe and surface. Okay, we can also use the fill command in generative wireframe and surface if we click on it, and we'll have more options. Okay, so I can go ahead and select all four edges to complete that profile and preview. So it's creating the surface. Alright, so let's add supports. So it's generating the surface, but it's ignoring the relationship between it and the surrounding surfaces. Okay, so let's go to support. So this was our first edge shown in blue. So I'm going to check this as my support. Notice it defaults to tangent continuity. Okay, let's go to the next one. Our second curve that we selected. And again, we'll pick the surface for our support. And it'll come off tangent. So as you go from this surface to the patch, it's tangent. Same thing with our first one, our first edge. As it generates the surface, it'll generate it tangent to the existing surface. So now let's go over to the third one. So let's click on the third edge and select our support. Click, select support. So now it's also going to come off tangent, as you can see, tangent as you go from this surface to our new surface. And finally the fourth edge. Let's go ahead and add a support. So now we have tangency and preview. So it's pretty similar to what we had on the styled fill. Now here we're going to increase the quality of the transition as you go from one surface to our new one. We're going to say, hey, we want curvature continuity. And let's select curvature continuity for all four edges. And preview. Okay, so it's a go. Alright, so curvature continuity. So not only are we getting point continuity, meaning there's a connection between our existing surface and our new surface. There's also tangency as you go from one surface to another. And we have curvature continuity, meaning the radius as you exit our old surface and enter our new surface, the radii are equal. Okay, and we have accomplished that on all four edges and hit OK. Alright, so now we can go ahead and join our surface. So we have the main surface and we have our new little patch. Join and OK. Let's go ahead and remove tangencies. And you can see we have a cleaner surface, but we do have an error right there, as you can see. You can also tell by the light reflection. So obviously here we have to fix this portion of it. Alright, so let me remove the join. I'm going to delete the join so we can have it as two separate surfaces. Let me go ahead and change the color of this one. Okay, so we have an error in this area. So let's go over to freestyle. And I'm going to introduce you to is it isoprem? Isoparametric curve. Isoparametric curve. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. Then I'm going to click on my surface. And I want you to notice that it generates a curve. So you're just going to eyeball where you want it, where you want to trim off. So we're going to trim off this bottom portion of the blue surface. And click. Oh, let's try it again. Didn't like it. We may have to remove even more. Okay, it did accept it now. Okay, so we'll remove this entire portion of this blue surface. I was trying to get away with removing less, but we kept getting the error message. Let me see if I can still move it. Nope, doesn't seem to like it. Alright, so we'll just continue on. Okay, so these isoparametric curves, when it generates a curve, so let's say the distance along this curve, let's say we went inward, let's say 30%. So it will also go 30% inward along this curve, this shorter curve. It's almost like creating a grid on a surface while it stays, what's the word I'm looking for here? While it maintains a ratio, right? So if the ratio of this curve over the overall curve is, let's say, 1 to 4, then this one will also be 1 to 4 along this curve, and so on. Okay, so let's go ahead and trim the portion we don't need. We're going to remove this lower portion. So let's click on this surface, and we're going to use split. Let's go ahead and go over to generative wireframe and surface. Okay, so we're going to take this surface and we're going to split it with our curve. There it is. Okay, and now we're going to recreate this patch. So this is very common to have to go in there and do a few patches to fix the suit or the dress that you're making, right? To have a nice smooth transition. Okay, so let's recreate. We don't have to use fill. We can also use multi-section loft or multi-section surfaces. Okay, that's another option. Either one will work. Well, you don't always get the exact same result, but you have options when recreating a patch. I'll just go back to fill. If that doesn't work, then I'll go to multi-section surfaces. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill this up again. And preview. Okay, so it's generating that surface. And let's go back to supports. We'll pick this surface for that curve. And this surface for that curve. Then we have the bottom curve. And let's change them all to curvature continuity. And OK. Alright, let me go ahead and hide my curve. Okay, so as you can see, we have two little patches. And let's join it all together. Let's join the main surface and the two little patches. And OK. And you can see we got rid of that bad transition that we had earlier. Now we still have to go in there and do an analysis and use the checker. So if we go over to review and use checker, pick the surface. So depending on your settings, depending on the quality that you want, this will give you a visual of areas where you don't have a nice transition or where you have patches overlapping each other. It does happen. Okay, so it looks like we're good. All right, so that's how you repair a surface. And again, it's very common. All right, see you in the next video.